So obviously I'm safe out of that whole ordeal. Um, you know, um, it just amazes me how quickly it could all go so horribly bad. Um, I've mentioned this yesterday um, in my commentaries of the whole thing. Started the day in Mexican Hat. Packed up the skis and all that. Said goodbyes to Gooseneck State Park and drove. Now, I think the bad omen for me, and I'm not a superstitious person by any means, but something happened along the way that basically set the tone for everything else through the day. When I was passing through the city of Bluff and made a turn to 191, two birds decided to swoop in. Now, mind you, if those of you obviously that have never been to the city of Bluff, city of Bluff is located at the intersection of, I think it's Highway 163 or 161. I keep getting them confused. And 191. And there's bluffs literally all across, everywhere, on either side of the road. So like this side and that side and this side and this side. And so if the road goes here, the bluffs are like there. So you make a turn like this to 191 and you're going, just as quick as you make that turn. So you're not going fast, okay? Maybe like the speed limit there is, I think, somewhere between 45 and 65. I don't know. I don't drive speed limit here. I'm like way beyond the speed limit because you can't drive up a slope like that with an RV and vehicle in tow to begin with. So maybe I was going 45 max, probably less. And two birds decide to, and I have it in the camera probably, they decide to swoop in this graceful sort of, and I'm like, oh hey, look at the two birds, smack. So I'm guessing I probably killed one, and the other one I saw try to fly away with all sorts of feathers flying all over the place. I kind of glanced outside. I've only seen one fly, so okay, whatever. My vision was but this was my second mistake. My mom told me about this. I keep ignoring what she has to say, and I'm paying the price again. And I'm a man to, enough to admit my shortcomings on the matter. I'll explain why that matters in a little bit. So I had about half a tank of gas at the time, because I kept putting stuff into the tank, with the canisters and everything. But I've only put like 4 canisters worth, so that's about 20 gallons. So I had about 20, like half a tank in Mexican Hat. And my vision was that I would have enough gas to go to Needles, and then I would have enough gas to go to Moab. Well, that didn't happen, because when I came to Needles, and I drove down the, bumpy road, two things. Number one, there's obviously no internet at all in Needles. That's an eventuality that I realized was going to happen, and I had backup plans. Okay, so that's the reason why I went there on a Sunday, so that I have the full day to deal with this, right? So I go by the visitor center. The ranger is like, hey, if you go down this Joe Hart Road, there's people that go camping there all the time, and there's signal over there, or you could go to the Needles Overlook. Well, the problem is, when I took the Joe Hart Road, there's nowhere at all to go camping with a Class C RV on that road until you get like within 1 mile of Monticello, and you have to go like 4,000 feet high in elevation all the way into the Alpine area. Like, it was so high that the birch trees, I kid you not, they were like that big in diameter. Everything was dead, obviously, because it's cold as hell over there. It must have been like 30 something degrees. And there's people crazy enough to have camped by this tiny little lake. Initially I pulled in nose first. I'm like, but no, I backed out of there, because I had to drive 13 miles up the twisty, windy, serpentine road, 4,000 feet high, just to get there. Turn around, drove all the way back, right? And I passed by the one place where I'm like, that would be a wonderful place for me to. So I did a cordial mistake, which set the precedent for everything else. And obviously you guys already know the details, how I got stuck and pinched between asphalt and that, and blew a tire, and yada yada yada. 10 hours later, a police officer was dispatched. They offered to dispatch earlier, but I'm like, but like when it got legitimately dark, they had to dispatch somebody because I was still blocking the road. The tow person came out, and basically did what they had to do. Mercifully, when I bought my when I bought my trailer, I had them weld D-rings to it. Right. That's the reason why I had it custom made. Because you could go to like a trailer dealer and just pick one up, and they keep advertising stake pockets, which are like completely useless. You can't do anything with them at all. And if you tie off to them, they're so flimsy. But even if they're not, they still cut into the straps, which is the stupidest thing ever. You can't like latch anything onto them, whatever. So I had, the manufacturer weld the D-rings so that, and basically the tow company set up two chains, two at the like front of the trailer and in the back, with two lines of winches going back to their vehicle. And they like RVs. Like, imagine if this is the road, right? And RV is kind of like this. So he parked like there, basically in line with my trailer, and started winching me up like so. Eventually getting to the point where I could walk between the pivot point of the trailer and where it was connecting to the hitch. I mean, it was like, it was crazy. Finally, he told me to put it in reverse, because all that time it was in neutral. So he told me to put it into reverse, which I did. Very slowly got to the asphalt. He told me to parallel and all that stuff. Changed the tire. Wonderful guy, helped me get my truck onto the trailer, because otherwise that's another shortcoming that this whole trailer situation came sort of like a last second thing, because of me breaking the leg, and initially I was gonna take my 150cc scooter here. That's the reason why I got my motorcycle license. So this trailer situation, I don't have any lights in the back, right? It's impossible to load anything to the trailer in complete pitch black. And out there in the middle of nowhere, I kid you not, if I turned off my lights here in the RV, I couldn't even see 1 foot outside. Like, it was just like, bam! I mean, stars everywhere, of course, but like your mind is in a horrible place, so you don't even appreciate just how gorgeous it is. And the sky is completely different, because out there in Florida, we are like on a different kind of landscape as far as the stars concerned. Here the stars are like there, different alignment, very bright, very. And in that thing, I have to, because the guy already left. So in that thing, I have to strap everything, and my hands are freezing because it's like 38 degrees and wind chill. But I couldn't sacrifice the necessity of doing it right, because the last thing I wanted to happen was for something to go horribly wrong as I'm trying to get away from there. So, and by that point, we're talking like it's already midnight. I say, okay. The ranger told me, as he was telling me about the Drawhard Road, that if you go to the Needles Overlook, that apparently there's 4G and 3G signal over there, which there is. But come on, cat. Right. But that's the cat. But the problem is, I am in pitch black, and the Needles Overlook Road is the longest bloody road. Mind you that I only gone halfway, because there's 2 overlooks, like one that overlooks the Moab and Potash Ponds and the Canyonlands, and the other one that overlooks the Needles District. So I've only gone like to this one. Pitch black, can't see nothing. Once I get to the area where I, on Google Maps, saw a whole bunch of campers, there's all sorts of signs that say no camping, no camping, no camping, like somebody just hammered them in everywhere. No vehicles allowed, no camping allowed. I'm like, I'm tired, exhausted, sleepy. I'm like, okay, maybe I could just sleep on the parking lot. Get to the Overlook, which was another mistake. Again, like, I want you guys to learn from my mistakes so that you don't repeat them. The Needles Overlook is like a teardrop shaped thing. Okay? You come in, there's vaulted toilets and space to basically park like a fifth wheel. Okay? And there's some, like, this is the space, the vault toilets, and there's some parking spaces for cars, and like the Needles Overlook, right? And then it goes up the hill on this crazy banking turn, and then going around, there's like a picnic table, and there's somebody with a smaller SUV and a camper in tow there. Now my problem is that I assume, which was just, again, an oversight on my part. That's the reason why I want you to learn from my mistakes. That I could just do a turnaround and come right back. No. You cannot. I repeat, you cannot, while driving something other than a passenger vehicle, do the loop, come back and do the loop again. There's no place to turn around, period, at all. If you have anything that has normal clearance like a Class C RV would, you can't turn anywhere around unless you do like a 65 point turn. But in my case, I have a trailer in tow. I can't do anything, right? So I get to, I'm like, I get to the point where there's a turnoff to either go to this overlook or that overlook, right? There's like a triangle sort of like this. And I expect to just do like a turn and a turn and go all the way back. No. You have to do a 270-degree turn just to get from this turn to this turn to basically like triangle is more like this. I'm like, and again, there's no camping signs everywhere. Pitch black. By that point, it's already like 12:30 at night. No, 1 o'clock at night. Sorry, 1 o'clock at night. I recall seeing a campground, you know, but I've read that it was like a paid campground. It's 6 miles off the Highway 191, on that same very road, Needles Overlook Road. So I get there. Now, I should mention that to turn from the overlook area back into the campground, again, you have to do a 270-degree turn. Complete black. While towing, basically I make it up. And the wonderful signal that's all across this road, right? You get like 3 bars, 4 bars, 2 bars. It's just gone. It just evaporates. It's like it turns to 1x and then it just goes poof. Sort of like Thanos, you know how he does that and everything just goes poof. Well, it went like that exactly with that very sound effect. But at that point, I'm like, okay, if I do anything more today, I'm gonna screw something up again because I can't, you know, I've already had enough adventures for the day. So mercifully, as I'm pulling in, there's highly unlevel pull-through site, which is really the only pull-through site they have in there, and you have to be very careful because if you have like a fifth wheel, you're gonna be scratching along the trees and branches, both pulling in and coming out. That entire campground isn't designed for a pull-through type vehicle. You know, I did see, like this morning when I left, there were a couple of fifth wheels that were like backed in. So this morning I woke up and obviously had to move. I am at the corner of 191 and Needles Overlook Road. There's some sort of Indian, I don't know what the heck it's called. It's fenced off. There's like a palapa with signage and it says Canyon Rims Recreational Opportunities and some sort of solar thing of sorts, right? 360 degrees views, mountains over there, mountains over there, mountains and cliffs over there, mountains over there, cliffs over there. Basically, I am 21 miles away from Moab and 21 miles away from Monticello, so I'm like halfway. I have about 2 feet left of gas in my RV, which is something that I told you way back that it was gonna come back and haunt me. You know, when you have a half a tank of gas, it's time to fill up apparently. Now, in my particular case, like, I don't have enough gas to drive my RV anywhere, right? So what I'm gonna have to do is get the truck off the trailer, go either to Moab or go to Monticello, and fill up the gas cans. And ideally, what I would like is also take a spare tire, although I have no idea how I'm going to do it, because it is heavy as you wouldn't believe it, and the entire back of my pickup truck is packed. Like, there's no way. And even if I magically put tire into like a blanket and manage to wrestle it, I'm looking at this weird car that's been spying on me. If I by miracle wrestled it into the body of my pickup truck, which I don't know, because RV tires are heavy. Because preferably I would very much like to have a fixed, tire. Alternative is to fill up the RV and drive the RV with the tire on the trailer as it is right now to basically get to where I need it. But so yes, that's kind of how it goes.